I always find it funny when people try to tell me to not like talk about politics, or I don't know about y'all, but like the whole like don't talk about politics, religion, or salary, how much you make, right? That's the whole spiel, the understanding. And I just realized like every one of those three things, without talking about them, without like discourse that challenges the status quo, without realizing the ways in which everything is political, our existence is political. Because as long as there are people who take money from us, who from our labor, who use that money to do crazy corrupt shit, um, and do crazy corrupt shit all around the world, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it. We need to care. We need to talk about it. We need to care. We need to be educated about it, the way it works. And the only reason why is not because it's legitimate, but because it actually tangibly controls our lives. It actually tangibly affects real people in real time. It actually can change. That's another like huge part of it for me. They have beaten the imagination out of our bodies. They have not allowed us to imagine a better world. All their movies are apocalyptic. Everything that they fund is about death and theft and torture and all of the crazy shit that people consume these days on these platforms, on as media, as art, as there's so much violence everywhere that you're being fed all the time. There's so much normalization of things that are not normal. It's not normal to be in these inflated situations, economic situations, where a very small percentage of very, very, very wealthy people have more power and money and wealth in their pocket than 99% of the world. That don't make sense. That hierarchy doesn't make sense. That submission to that truth doesn't make sense. Of course, they have many things to reinforce their truth. They protect their property and their ideas and their laws and each other with police. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I want to believe that police give a fuck about making the world a better place, and maybe some of them do. Maybe some of them have that hope and dream, but most of them know what's going on. Most of them know what's going on within there. And I've spoken to enough cops that and like people who used to be cops that I know they know, and they know, and they're a part of the whole thing. They protect it. And so yeah, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it because it doesn't need to be this way. Cops are community members. These are people that go home, have families, have children who are in schools with what I'm saying. Like this is not something that's like an end all be all. It's like, hey, this is really fucked up. Like, we need to start holding things accountable. We need to start moving in ways that we say we want to move. And if we've never moved like that before, which we haven't, because this entire country and world is built off of colonialism, the modern world that we see through our phones and that we interact with and that we're a part of through consumerism, it's all literally connected. It's all connected. And it's just the newest iteration of empire. And until we start talking about things together and connecting the dots. A lot of people don't understand why what's happening in Palestine should matter to us. It should matter to us because our tax dollars are directly being used to fund this war. And endless wars supply the pockets of investors in defense contracts and companies that are American owned, that make bombs, make weaponry that is actually like the level of psychopathy that we've reached with weapons creation is insane and unnecessary, unless there's like this agenda for totalitarian rule over people where you can live stream a genocide and be gaslit in real time about what's happening so that they can keep making money. They're profiting off of this war. I want you to look up how much Nancy Pelosi has made off of this war. I want you to look up how much Joe Biden's made off of this war. I want you to look up how AIPAC has funded our entire political establishment. And I need you to understand why that's important. I need you to understand why you need to get involved. And I know that it's scary and apathy is much more comfortable than action. And I understand that and I respect that. It's kind of fucking scary to have to be confronted with the fact that everything you've been told about the country that you live in is a lie. You know what I mean? Not everyone has been exposed to all of the different ways that systemic oppression affects people in this country, especially white people, you know, like it's just not something that is experienced by a lot by most people. You know, we were very privileged in this country, and we're at a very important precipice, I feel like, in history, where we need to pay attention to our role and our power. We have collective power. You, me together, it makes two. All of y'all together, if like 30,000 of you watch this, that's 30,000 people, bitch. Like, that's a lot of people. If you put 30,000 people in a room, you would be like, wow, there's a lot of people here, okay? So understand your power. Understand that we don't have to give up our power. We don't have to be like, oh, you know what? I'm not voting at all because this is a fake system, and that it is. Yeah, you're right. It's literally a colonial system on colonized land, on settlers made it up, you know what I'm saying? And like had to kill so many people and caused so much pain and destruction in indigenous communities and on the tribes that they encountered here to take this land, you know? And that's not even to mention all the places that they colonized to take labor, to take resources from, and just completely obliterated people because they felt like it, you know? It's real. And I feel like in America, there's like a diaspora of people who have experienced this history and lineage, who do not have to be told that it's true in history books or in classes by academia. Their lived experience is the truth of the situation. You know what I'm saying? So like, when we listen to their stories, when we connect their stories in the grander scheme of it all, then we can see the root cause of the issue. And we can start in our local elections. We can start by making sure that the people that we elect, there's a whole bunch of seats up in local elections all across the nation. There are seats that for the Senate and the Congress. Those are the people who are making these laws. Okay, the president is one aspect. I don't fuck with neither one of those two. I've said that many times. I'm going to be doing something. I really want us to talk about third party, but, you know, that's neither here nor there for this particular conversation. But for local elections, guys, there are so many seats up. And the most important thing for your criteria right now needs to be who is funding this person's campaign. Who is funding this person's campaign? Who is the person that's going to be making laws over my life, livelihood, body, that of my family, that of my neighbor, that of my community, that of my local. We all live around each other now. You know what I mean? We're like a conglomerate of human beings, millions of us in the United States. Yes, state by state things are different. Yes, you know, whatever. But to me, the minority right now, the minority voice of absolute extremism, okay? That they're very organized, and we need to be just as organized in our counterance of it. We have to be, because if we're not, if we don't follow through with our principles, with our values, they will take our rights away. I'm going to do another one about Project 2025, but like, I want to talk about that. And I'm going to do another video, but this one's long, so